Two sets of players ready now. Real Madrid in a huddle in brilliant white shirts, shorts and socks. Borussia Dortmund in their traditional black and yellow with smatterings of black on the shirt. And in the heat of MetLife Stadium, we're about to get the final quarter-final of the FIFA Club World Cup underway. And alongside me is Scott Minto. Real Madrid in white will attack the goal away to the right in this first half. Dortmund attacking the goal to the left. But it'll be Real Madrid to get us underway. I'll go through the two teams in just a moment as we count the countdown. And the referee obliges with his whistle. Ramon Abate of Brazil is our man in the middle. And Thibaut Courtois sends a high ball out to this near side, the Real Madrid right. And eventually it dribbles out of play, or at least it's intending to be dribbled out of play on the near side. And eventually it goes out for a Real Madrid throw near the corner flag.
It's a very tight ground, isn't it? Where the fans are very much on, and great atmosphere, I have to say. And there have been some issues about full stadia. Well, I tell you what, there's not a problem today for this particular game. It's a big game. Real Madrid, for me, the biggest club in the world, up against Borussia Dortmund. And I think if Dortmund are able to get past the fact that they're playing Madrid, play the team, not the reputation, they got every chance of causing an upset here.
They certainly did in the first half of their last meeting, where they had a two-goal lead that was wiped out quite convincingly by Real Madrid. At the moment, though, Dortmund coming down this near side, they're left with Karim Adeyemi trying to get the better of the Real Madrid defence, laid off by Julian Brandt to Daniel Svensson, the Swede, and now the Austrian Marcel Sabitzer still inside the Real Madrid half on the near side. It's with Rami Bensebaini, and it goes out of play. Let me run through the two teams. Real Madrid have Courtois in goal, Rudiger, Tchouameni and Housen at the back, Alexander-Arnold, Valverde, Goulet and Fran Garcia in midfield. Bellingham further forward of them with Gonzalo Garcia and Vinicius Junior up front. Dortmund, Kobel in goal, Schüller, Anton, Bensebaini, the three at the back, Ryerson, Sabitzer, Gross and Svensson, with Brandt ahead of them. And the two up front are Guirassy and Adeyemi. And it's a hot day at MetLife Stadium. 82,500 capacity arena, no roof, no air conditioning, no escape from the heat.
No, I'll tell you what, they're not easy conditions, and obviously we have two European sides who, have had a long season. There's no doubt about it. And then go on to the internationals playing in this. It's not easy, but these are top class players who will be up for this now. If you're going to be in the competition, why not try and win it?
Guirassy put through by Brandt into the penalty area on the left. He hesitates and puts it back to the edge of the penalty area, but a late flag for an offside against Serhou Guirassy as it was played through by Julian Brandt. And looking at the replay, Scott, clear.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it was Real Madrid playing offside, and Antonio Rudiger being the last man, so fair enough. But that, from a striker's point of view, Guirassy be thinking to himself, do you know what, I see space here with this back three. If the wing backs are going to push up, which I think they will, Garcia certainly has already. Trent's a little bit deeper, but I expect him to push on as well. There should be space for the likes of Guirassy and also Adeyemi with his pace.
3 minutes played. Real Madrid 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. The winners of this quarter-final will face Paris Saint-Germain in the semis after their 2-0 victory over Bayern Munich. A late victory with 9 men in the end, the European champions. So, still on course for a European and world double as Real Madrid come forward down the far side. They're left with Vinicius Junior, who scored a hat-trick the last time these two met. His cross is cut out by Nicolas Süle, and it goes back to Federico Valverde, just outside the penalty area. Over on the far side, the Real Madrid left. Bellingham, short to Goulet, and now into Tchouameni in an advanced position. Back to Arda Güler again, 25 yards out, in line with the edge of the penalty area on the far side. Real Madrid in no particular hurry, just carefully working the ball forward through Dean Housen. and eventually it comes off a Real player and out for a Borussia Dortmund goal kick.
Yeah, Dortmund making it really difficult for Real Madrid to break them down, being very compact indeed. You know, Julian Brandt's sort of dropping in, so it's like a 5-3-2 formation. But even Guirassy and Adeyemi are dropping right deep as well, so it's very difficult. So it's probably best for Real Madrid to try and move the ball around as much as possible, or almost try and counter-attack them quickly. If they do get the ball in midfield, look to try and get forward as much as possible, because once Dortmund are in place, very difficult to break down.
Heavy challenge by Tchouaméni on Guirassy in front of the Borussia Dortmund dugout. Niko Kovac is the Borussia Dortmund head coach, appointed back in January of this year, so not even 6 months in the job. As his team come forward on the near side, the left, the ball hangs nicely just shy of the dead ball line. Svensson to Adeyemi, very interesting choice of spin by Adeyemi to create the space, and the cross to the near edge of the 6-yard area is headed wide by Julian Brandt.
Well, I tell you what, that's what I'm talking about, that's what they can do, and what I was just saying that Real Madrid have to do to Dortmund. It was Svensson's run down the left that caught Trent out. He played the ball back to Adeyemi, who had a little turn, and I was wondering if he was going to have a shot inside the box. He didn't in the end, but went back out to the left. Good cross, good run from Brandt, and that will take a lot of confidence, surely, Dortmund.
Closest we've come to a goal inside the first 6 minutes, and now Real Madrid on the attack down the left. Ball straight to the back post. Gonzalo Garcia on the stretch. Didn't really get his feet right. It was sort of mid-stride for him, and the ball goes out for a throw way beyond him.
Well, Garcia to Garcia, and Gonzalo Garcia very nearly got on the end of it. It was a wonderful first-time whip ball in from the left wing-back, Fran Garcia. And Gonzalo was trying to get there as quickly as possible, stuck out a leg, it came off his shin, but I tell you what, we've got an open game already, haven't we, Mike?
Certainly have. Gonzalo Garcia has already scored 3 goals in 4 games at this tournament, and he's keeping Kylian Mbappe out of the team. And if it scored there, it would make it even harder for the Frenchman to get back in. But as yet, no goals. You're listening to Talk Sport 2 with coverage of the FIFA Club World Cup from the USA. The ball is with Arda Güler, forward to Gonzalo Garcia, then it's back to Güler again, infield to Tchouaméni, pushed quite far forward, Aurélien Tchouaméni, given that on the team sheet at least he's starting in central defence.
Well, yeah, and this Arda Güler is dropped right back, and he's almost the last man at the back, which obviously they need to be careful about that, but he is the quarterback in that role at the moment.
And he's lifted it to the far side, where Garcia gets the better of Sula, to the near post again. It was his namesake, Gonzalo Garcia, trying to get on the end of it. Real threatening once more, as you say, Scott. An open start to this game between 2 European heavyweights.
Yeah, forget the heat, forget the humidity, forget the tiredness. These two teams are going at it already. We have a fantastic game on our hands, and Fran Garcia for the second time, really good play down the left-hand side and whipping a good ball.
Corner taken short, deeper towards Vinicius Junior, back out to the left. Garcia with the high cross, headed down and almost to the feet of Jude Bellingham, who was alert to it. It was nodded down by Dean Howson. Another threatening position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good ball in. Howson's done really well because he's coming back on it and heading it back across and down in front of the Real Madrid players, and Jude Bellingham was the closest to it. He just didn't quite read it, didn't quite react quick enough. If he had it done and got the first touch and it had been a good one, then he would have had a completely free shot at goal.
Here come Real Madrid again, although it's eventually cut out by Pascal Gross, the former Brighton and Hove Albion player. And the throw-in taken short. Just to update you that in the Women's Euro, England trail France 2-0 early in the second half of that game. Here it's goalless. Valverde can't prod it through, but Güler will have a second chance to guide it out to Fran Garcia, who's seen a lot of the ball so far on the Real Madrid left. That's the far side as we look. Back in field to Güler again, offering himself up. Vinicius Junior around the outside. Here's Fran Garcia, clips it back, headed away by Sabitzer. Straight to Fran Garcia. Everything coming from the Real Madrid left. at the moment. Goulet this time, from the edge of the box, curls it in! And who's there to finish but Gonzalo Garcia? It's 4 goals in 5 Club World Cup games, and within 10 minutes of the start, it's Real Madrid who break the deadlock. Real Madrid 1, Borussia Dortmund 0. Gonzalo Garcia yet again.
Yeah, it's that man yet again, and what a tournament he's having so far. And he has to, just to keep Kylian Mbappe out. With 4 goals now in 5 appearances. The movement was great, but I mean, how has Arda Güler been given so much time to look up? And he's looked up, and Gonzalo Garcia is able to just get into the right place at the right time. No one's picking him up, but you have to stop the cross. The fact that Güler is able to look up, see where Garcia is, who's in between 2 of the defenders. He's put in an inch perfect ball, and in the end it's just about Garcia just getting that touch, guiding it away from Kobel. And that's exactly what he's done. It's been a great start for Real Madrid for sure.
The 21-year-old just skipping into the air, opening up his right boot and calmly, deftly sending it beyond the reach of Gregor Kobel. And Real Madrid, well, they afforded too much space there, in all positions.
It's a really good goal from Real Madrid's point of view. It's a shockingly bad defensive goal from Borussia Dortmund. They're all just dropping off, and the moment the ball's coming towards Arda Güler, even before he takes the touch, he should be engaged. He wasn't. He took the touch, he still wasn't engaged. He was able to look up, he still wasn't engaged. And then was the quality that he's got, and we spoke about in pre-match. He just looked up, Garcia finding that space. And for someone like him, the class player he had, I mean, he's had more minutes in this competition than he has in La Liga. Brilliant finish.
Here come Dortmund though, on the offensive. Guirassy to the edge of the box. Gross, who can shoot from distance, sends it straight down the throat of Thibaut Courtois, and immediately Real Madrid try to counter. And again, it's down the far side, the left. You're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport 2, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of this tournament live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com. Real Madrid, left edge of the penalty area with Vinicius Junior trying to manoeuvre for space. Bellingham, 20 yards out, left foot, back into Vinicius, just inside the angle of the penalty area. Sula, though, stands his ground, shielding the ball from the Brazilian, and Dortmund gets some respite.
Well, do you know what? It was good defending in the end from Sula, but one simple, and it was a quality ball from Jude Bellingham, but again, too simple, over the top, and suddenly, Fran Garcia, what a start to the game he's had. He's running down the left-hand side. He's able to get the ball back between Jude Bellingham and Vinny Jr. They're sort of passing between themselves and looking as if they're about to create something. Dortmund need to... It's one thing to get numbers back, Mike. It's another thing to not engage anybody who's on the ball or go with those runners, and that's not what they're doing at the moment.
And they almost had the ball cut out inside their own half, Borussia Dortmund. In the end, though, Guirassy is brought down by Tchouaméni, not for the first time. He's probably riding his luck a little bit, Aurélien Tchouaméni. But as yet, Serhou Guirassy and his teammates have been unable to respond to that Real Madrid goal, scored by Gonzalo Garcia inside the 10th minute in this last of the quarter-finals at the Club World Cup. Fluminense against Chelsea is the first of the semis. The second one will be between Paris Saint-Germain and the winners of this game. Dortmund have it on the halfway line with Sula.
It is interesting, though, that Tchouaméni is playing further forward like he did in the second half of the last game. So it's not really a 3 at the back, it is a 4. You know, Trent has to be careful. Fede Valverde is coming across to try and help out, and sometimes he's almost being like a right wing back, but generally speaking, Tchouaméni is definitely pushed out with that back 3 into midfield, and then Garcia and Trent are tucking in a little bit more, but Fran Garcia is finding so much space down the left.
Ball is with Valdemar Anton. Back out to the far side again, which is the Dortmund right. They're struggling, though, to really break through Real Madrid at the moment, and so they decide to go from right to left. Ben Sebaini switches it to the deep Karim Adeyemi. Real Madrid, in particular, Trent Alexander-Arnold just forcing them down the line. Niko Kovac and Xavi Alonso issuing instructions from the technical areas. They're not hidden from the heat either. Mid-afternoon in New Jersey / New York. Forward it goes. Garassi in the centre circle. It's come very deep for the ball. But plenty of white shirts in front of him. It's very compact. It's very condensed in the central area.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tchouaméni is kind of, I wouldn't say man-marking Julian Brandt, but certainly getting tight to him as much as possible. And so that means if he has to drop in, he will, and it'll be a 5. If not, he'll push him further on, and it'll be a 4.
Brandt likes to float between midfield and attack. Vastly experienced. Captain for the day. Attempted cross was by Pascal Gross. It's cut out, and it'll go out for a Borussia Dortmund throw-in. In line with the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area on the far side. They're attacking the goal away to the left, trailing by a goal to nil. Away by Valverde to the far side. Vinicius not very comprehensive in his attempt to clear. Adeyemi now moving central, 30 yards from goal. Dribbles towards this near side, the Dortmund left. Svensson short for Adeyemi, who moves around the outside of the penalty area. Trent Alexander-Arnold keeps him company to the point where he forces the ball out for a goal kick.
Great defending from Trent. I haven't said that loads of times in his career, but Adeyemi, with the pace that he's got, he never really got into his stride. We know how quick he is, but Trent was just holding him up, and then when it was only about 6 yards towards the byline, he just got his body across and not only made sure Adeyemi didn't get the cross in, but he won a goal kick in the end. So brilliant defending from Trent.
Will moving to Real Madrid make him a better defensive player? We know how good he is offensively, Trent.
I don't know, because I think Real Madrid have as much possession as Liverpool do. You know, so it's almost one of those where this is why it's interesting what Xabi Alonso will do in the La Liga season, whether he will go 3 at the back or whether it will be a 4. I think ideally his best position is a right wing back. But, you know, Real Madrid, as I say, like Liverpool, you have so much of the ball. It's all about what you do with it.
They're coming down this near side, the right. Gonzalo Garcia's gone down under a challenge from Bensebaini. He's clutching his right knee in pain. No sign of it being a free kick. Ball has gone out of play. It was just as a good defensive play by Bensebaini.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. He's definitely caught him, but it was accidental and good defending. But yeah, just to finish on Trent, he does have to sharpen up, because there's no doubt about it, where if things, you know, weren't going too well at Liverpool, the fans will look after him. Real Madrid for sure. You know, they're pretty ruthless there. Teams against Real Madrid, generally speaking, while they don't mind having possession, they will sit back and they will try and counter, and they'll use pace in behind, and that's something where I think Trent can be a little bit vulnerable, just ball watching a little with that pace running in behind.
Dortmund not clearing their lines well enough. Right edge of the area, squared to the middle, 25 yards out. Tchouaméni to the left for Goulet, now space for Fran Garcia at the angle of the box. Real Madrid leading through Gonzalo Garcia's goal. 17.5 minutes played on TalkSport 2, bringing you live coverage of the FIFA Club World Cup. This is the last of the quarter-finals. The semis start on Tuesday with Fluminense of Brazil against Chelsea, Scott's former club. And then the second semi-final between PSG and the winners of this one, which will be decided either in 90 minutes, 120 minutes, or if needed, a penalty shootout. Who knows? And I suspect no one wants to go to extra time in this heat.
No, absolutely. I think that's why we saw today, the start of it so far, both teams kind of going at it, but you know, there's no doubt about it, Real Madrid have been better with the ball, and Dortmund, as we talked about, just haven't engaged when Real Madrid have had the ball in the final third. They've just been sitting back the whole time.
Trent Alexander-Arnold took his eye off the ball because it's gone away from him, and it's picked up by Svensson, and now they work it into the middle. Gross back towards Valdemar Anton. Now to Bensebaini. The bright yellow shirts and the bright white shirts really shining in this sunshine, glaring almost. I have actually sat in this stadium in September, and it's hot enough then, let alone early July. Ball played out wide to the near side. The goal scorer Garcia into Bellingham, who gets some roars of approval from the Real Madrid fans inside the stadium for his little back flick, and he gets it back at the angle on the right here, near side as we look. Gonzalo Garcia Carefully into Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it's followed in by Fran Garcia. It's a day for the Garcias because both of them have scored inside the first 20 minutes. They are punishing Borussia Dortmund. Real Madrid 2, Borussia Dortmund 0.
Well, again, Dortmund just are not getting close to Real Madrid at all. The fluid movement of Madrid. I mean, first of all, I have to say with this heat and humidity, I really like the way Real Madrid are trying to press Borussia Dortmund when they've got the ball deep in their own half. And they're winning the ball back far too easily, just giving the ball away, Dortmund. And then they're passing quickly. And little patterns of play. Gonzalo Garcia, he's got the ball out wide. It's Trent who's made that underlapping run and then cut the ball back. And it's gone past 3 or 4 Dortmund players. I mean, it's again really poor defending. But Fran Garcia, how good a 20 minutes has he had in this game? Bombing on down the left, making chances, but this time coming in, reading the situation, and from one full-back to the other. It's brilliant play from Real Madrid, but really poor from Dortmund.
I tell you what, the likes of Ryerson and Sula on that right side for Dortmund are having an absolutely torrid time with Fran Garcia, who's now added his name to the score sheet with just over 20 minutes played at MetLife Stadium, the home of the New York Jets and the New York Giants NFL teams. It's also a concert venue. It'll stage 8 games at next year's FIFA World Cup. Of course, this is the prelude to the World Cup next year.
I mean, they nearly made it 3 there around Madrid. Vinny Jr. capitalising on a mistake, another poor mistake from Dortmund, and seeing keeper out of position, trying to lob him first time. Wasn't quite the right execution, but certainly the right idea. And at the moment, Real Madrid have the ability to kill this game off at half-time. I thought Dortmund would make this a much more of an even contest, but that's not been the case. I talk about how poor Dortmund have been, and they have been, both with and without the ball, but we've got to give lots of credit to Real Madrid because they've been pressing when they haven't had the ball. They've been making sure that Dortmund can't do anything with it, and then when they've got the ball, they've had so much movement from out wide, for left or right, and underlapping runs. Fran Garcia bombing on down the left. It's been a very impressive first 20 minutes from Real Madrid.
And the roles have been reversed from their Champions League meeting of October last season, when Dortmund were 2-0 up after 34 minutes, only to lose 5-2 in the end. But on the basis of what we've seen so far, as the Mexican wave makes its way around the stadium, I can't see Dortmund coming back. Certainly in this first half they are really struggling, and the heat will only make it more energy sapping, as there's a foul by Valverde on Anton on this near side, and it'll give Dortmund a free kick.
I mean, you know, I was saying about if Dortmund are able to play the team and not the reputation, then they've got a chance, but it does feel like they're intimidated. They're not playing in the way that they can. They're not able to pass the ball and make 4 or 5 passes. The press of Real Madrid is just too good, but the composure from Dortmund on the ball has not been good enough. And then, as I say, from a defensive point of view, it's one thing to get yourself in place. It's another thing to not engage the ball and let these players, these quality players, look up and time the runs and put the crosses in. It's not been good enough for Dortmund.
They do attack now down the left with Daniel Svensson. Although Adeyemi is very carelessly gifted the ball back to Valverde. There's then a foul on the Real Madrid captain, in frustration really at giving the ball away. The referee though, Ramon Abati, so far being pretty lenient. He refereed Real's group stage win over Pachuca 2 weeks ago. This is his 3rd match of the tournament. He regularly officiates in Brazil's Serie A.
Well, Joe Bellingham is thinking, hold on a minute, my yellow card, which has got me out of this game, was no worse than that particular tackle.
I'll tell you, he's sitting there very frustrated, not being able to get involved. He'll be desperately hoping his team can get through, otherwise his tournament will be over. Ball played long into the Dortmund half on this near side. Gonzalo Garcia feeling he was held by Ben Sebaini. Referee just waves away the calls for a free kick, and now it's with Julian Brandt on the near side, who are sporting a black, I don't know whether it's a cast or a bandage on his left arm from elbow to wrist. Player switch to the far side. Dortmund, I don't know if they're just not, they're not moving the ball quickly enough, are they?
No, but they're also just not able to handle the Madrid press. You know, and again, in this heat and humidity as well, it's not an easy thing to do. I can't believe that Real Madrid will keep this up for the full 90 minutes, but they don't need to. The scoreline's 2-0. They make it 3. Say about 2-0, I can't see it coming back. I mean, 2-1, then suddenly people could get nervous, but 3-0, they're not coming back from this. It's been a really impressive first 20-25 minutes from Real Madrid, but really poor from Dortmund.
Goals from Fran and Gonzalo Garcia making the difference as Guirassi's run forward comes to nothing, and then Anton on the halfway line tidies up for Borussia Dortmund, who'll build again. It's still 2-0 in the Women's Euro group game between France and England. England trailing in that game early in the second half. They've had just over an hour's play as Brandt switches play here at MetLife Stadium. Swung in by Sula into the penalty area. Not a bad delivery, but no one really attacked it with any purpose, and Real Madrid can come away with it. Valverde, loads of time to look up. His ball is a bit behind Fran Garcia on the far side, so he has to check and play it infield to Arda Güler. Scott Minto.
Yeah, Fede Valverde is coming out on the right-hand side and helping Trent from a defensive point of view when needed. Tchouaméni moving into midfield. So again, it's a very fluid formation from Madrid, but you're absolutely right. You know, when a team is pressing hard, then you have to make sure you pass the ball really quickly and keep the ball for 4, 5, 6 passes, tire them out and make them think, well, we can't keep on pressing because we're just chasing shadows at the moment. We're not able to do that, and now it's Madrid who are keeping the ball, and the Olays are going round the stadium.
Scott will be on commentary with Nigel Adderley for the first of the semi-finals between Fluminense and his former club Chelsea on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. But here come Real Madrid. Bellingham, look at the space. Bellingham! He's side-footed it wide. Well, there are options left, there are options right. Dortmund were backtracking in desperation, and really, Scott, Bellingham should have done better.
Well, he should have done, and I've seen him score in this situation on many occasions. He just moved the ball towards his left foot, and then he's not quite able to move his body around, so he's side-footed it, and his body shape means it's always going to go a little bit outside the goal. He was caught in about 3 minds there. He could have played it left or right, or had the shot. Once he makes that decision, just surprised he didn't get his head down and really try to strike through it rather than side-footed, because his body shape was all wrong there.
Jude Bellingham, 3 years with Borussia Dortmund. He won the German Cup with them, and he scored 1 goal so far in this tournament, but he's not playing against his younger brother today. Job suspended after picking up a second yellow card in the game against Monterrey. In fact, Jude, if he gets booked today, will miss the semi-finals should they get through, and after that they're wiped, the yellow cards.
That's got to be on his mind for sure. I mean, he just
well, him and Vinicius Junior on yellows.
Look, I love Jude. I think he's a world-class talent. I think he's already our best player, England's best player. He plays on the edge. Interesting what Tuchel said about him, you know, but I think he's got a winning attitude, a winning mentality. He's got to be careful. Madrid are very much on top. Do not make any rash tackles while you're in this situation at the moment.
Talking of Thomas Tuchel, he's in attendance at the England women's game at the Euro. 66 minutes played in that match. Still 2-0 France lead. We have a corner at MetLife Stadium where we're approaching the half-hour mark. Real Madrid, who've beaten Borussia Dortmund on the previous 4 occasions. They're unbeaten in 6 before this one. Lead through goals by Gonzalo and Fran Garcia in the heat of New Jersey. Dortmund with a corner then. It'll be an in-swinger from the far side, left-footed, high towards the back post. It's so straightforward for Thibaut Courtois. He barely has to breathe to pick the ball out of the air. And now Dortmund have to defend, although to their credit they've won it straight back inside the Real Madrid half and then lost it again. It's really good work rate from Real Madrid.
It's brilliant work rate. You know, you can see that Trent trying to get the ball out of his feet, couldn't quite do it.
And now it's fallen to Vinicius Junior on the edge of the area. The shot though is straight at Kerbal. Bellingham was attacking the ball down the left. Players sweating profusely, pouring off their chins. in the heat inside the stadium, and it contains the heat as well. Niko Kovac trying to get his team motivated. Many of the coaches have complained about the heat, Enzo Maresca particularly at Chelsea early on in the tournament, saying it was almost impossible to train, let alone play.
It's not easy when you got 4-hour matches either.
No, of course, the rain delays, storm delays. No possibility of that here, by the way. So we're going to be playing straight through, although we might have 120 plus minutes.
Well,
if
not the way this is going, if they wake up.
They're getting pressed again down the near side. Ben Sebaini can't stop it from going out. Real Madrid have a throw-in. They are ragged, aren't they, Dortmund?
They are, and it's almost as if they can't deal with the intensity that Real Madrid have put in as they have a cooling break at the half-hour mark. It's been a brilliant, absolutely brilliant half an hour from Real Madrid. Both the Garcias have scored, but Fran Garcia, I think he's got to be the best player on the pitch right now, very closely followed by Jude Bellingham. Jude has controlled the game, he's getting in there, he's almost sometimes being the first press. And it's almost as if it's Vinny Jr. and Gonzalo Garcia, and then they're split, and then Jude Bellingham's going in down the middle if he needs to, or just dropping off as a number 10. It's a very different system that they used in the last game, but Dortmund are just not able to live with them at the moment.
The coaching staff of both teams have dunked towels into the ice buckets, and the players have them wrapped around their necks and their shoulders. Good way of just cooling the body down as best they can in the moments before they go back on the pitch. We're getting replays of the two goals. The first of them scored from close range by Gonzalo Garcia, unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard area. Lovely guided ball which Kobel could do nothing about. And then the second one, Trent Alexander-Arnold sending it in low, just behind the 6-yard area, and then Fran Garcia coming in late, completely surprising Ryerson to make it 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. The first goal, I have to say again, you cannot allow the amount of space that Arda Güler had on the edge of the box to touch the ball, to look up, to put the cross in. But how on earth has Gonzalo Garcia been given that amount of space? You've got 3 centre-halves in there and no one's picking him up. And I blame Ben Sebaini, because he should be able to see. He's the one looking at the ball and the man, and he should be able to just come across. Forget about spaces or whatever, and if you're not using the communication to your centre-back alongside you, Anton, then you have to follow that run. He has to stop and make sure he doesn't come across in there. And the second one, I'm absolutely delighted for Trent. It's an assist that will go down. I think it's great. I don't think it's been particularly great in the first half an hour so far, but that will give him a lot of confidence. That underlapping run, whipping the ball in, but it's gone past about 4 Dortmund players. And Fran Garcia's run in from left back from the left wing, and yet he's able to get the first touch on the ball, and in the end it was a simple one because Kobel was beaten by that cross.
Players are back on the field after the cooling break, and it's going to be Real Madrid who'll resume play with just shy of 33 minutes played. We'll have at least a couple of minutes extra because of that break. Elsewhere, France 2, England 0 in the Women's Euro, with 20 minutes of that game remaining. Earlier today, Chelsea beat Palmeiras to set up a semi-final against another Brazilian team, Fluminense, at the Club World Cup. And Paris Saint-Germain, the European champions, with 9 men in the end, beat Bayern Munich with 2 late goals. Doué and Dembele scoring them. And it's they who will face one of these two. At the moment, it looks like Real Madrid, the way things are going, in control of this game, both in terms of score and the play. And they have it with Vinicius Junior on the far side. He then switches it with a high ball up to the near side towards Alexander-Arnold. It was missed in the air by Svensson, but he got lucky, and now Adeyemi into the Real Madrid half. But again, taking his eye off the ball, and it bobbles away from him, almost in Sunday League fashion.
Yeah, I mean, look, well done, Trent. The ball sort of came to him. It looked like Svensson was going to win it. It didn't. It came off Trent, and they looked like they were going to go and attack, and yet he sprinted back. Now Adeyemi, with the pace that he's got, you're right, is, sort of looking up, and at the moment, even their star players don't look shocked, they don't know what to do, stunned. And Trent came back and just nicked the ball off him there, so good defending from him.
Mentioned England's game against France at the Women's Euro. We've got commentary of Spain against Belgium here on TalkSport 2 on Monday from 5 o'clock. Flo Pollock and former England defender Gilly Flaherty will be commentating on that one. We've also got coverage of England's next game against Netherlands on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. That's on TalkSport. Adrian Durham will be presenting that. Joe Shannon and former England striker Tash Dowie will be the commentary team. Long ball forward by Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior gets the better of Sula on the edge of the area. Sula, though, uses his experience to prod the ball away, but he doesn't get much help from his teammates, and back come Real Madrid again. Goulet onto his left foot. Didn't really have enough room for the shot, which was charged down at close range, and now Guirassy, who we've seen very little of so far, plays it to Brandt. Ball forward, looking for Adeyemi. This time it's a better touch from Karim Adeyemi. Up against Antonio Rudiger on the left-hand angle of the area. Away to our left. Gross. Pascal Gross. 10 minutes left of the first half. Real 2 goals to the good. Both scored by Garcias. The first Gonzalo, the second Fran. Now Anton for Borussia Dortmund. Then Sabaini. Real Madrid getting everybody pretty much behind the ball. Adeyemi going deep to the back post. Guirassy not there. Brandt with the shot. Blocked by the man of the moment, Fran Garcia.
He's definitely the man of the moment. That's a great block. I just wonder why Guirassy didn't really go for that. It was a good ball to the far post, and I felt he could have really got his head on that, and it would have been a great opportunity for him.
Ball is with Dortmund.
I also think, Mike, they had a chance of a real counter-attack, and Adeyemi, with the pace that he's got, he really just should have ran at Rudiger. And yet, what happens? He kind of stopped, passed it back, they passed it back, Real Madrid were able to get back into position, and they lost the chance of that counter-attack with his pace. And they don't look like a team of confidence at all, and individually, that sort of looking around where who's going to step up here, and there's no one. It's just kind of like a pass without any kind of real incisive passing or running going on.
Well, right in saying that Karim Adeyemi is the fastest footballer in Europe.
I think he is.
Something like 36 kilometres an hour was how fast he was able to run. It's pretty impressive.
I struggle to get my car going that fast in the mornings.
All have the same sort of control. Vinicius Junior waiting as that ball was in midfield. Bellingham goes down but wins the free kick. 8 minutes plus stoppage time at the end of the first half. The Real Madrid fans are smiling in the sunshine of the United States, and the first yellow card of the game is being issued by Ramon Abati, and it's gone to the German midfielder Pascal Gross for the foul on Bellingham.
Oh, that's a bit of a naughty one. It's gone over the top there. Jude Bellingham didn't make too much of it. I think that's pretty much a sign of what's happened. They're half a yard off it, Borussia Dortmund. Real Madrid very much sharper.
Gross is not one of the Borussia Dortmund players currently on a yellow card. Those are Ben Sabaini, Nemetcha, who's on the bench. Guirassy is one of them, as are Jan Couto and Maximilian Bayer, who are amongst the substitutes. Dortmund have possession as we close in on half-time at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. East Rutherford, to be precise. Only got a population of about 10,000 people, but it's got a huge stadium, which is occupied normally by 2 NFL clubs, and will be a venue for next year's World Cup. 32 years on from when the United States last hosted it, although this time round they'll get some help from Mexico and Canada. Ball has gone out of play on this near side for a Borussia Dortmund corner. They really need to give themselves some kind of momentum, some catalyst really before the break. They haven't shown a great deal in this first half. There's plenty of movement there, and Anton has caught Fran Garcia. Garcia was following him around. I think Anton was getting a bit annoyed, and he just, you know how you do, you stand firm when someone's come running around you and at you, and Garcia felt the full force of his shoulder.
I'm sure VAR will have a look at this, but he's claiming, Fran Garcia, that there was an elbow there. There was a little bit of a shoulder, but come on, get up.
Come on, it's a contact sport.
Well, he's the one trying to grab Anton, and Anton just kind of, he has gone into him a little bit with the shoulder, but that's just what you do, it's what happens.
Shoulder to face. I'm not sure it's legal as such, but like you say, he's standing his ground, really.
It's the height difference that probably makes it more that sort of way, but no, a bit of contact, yes, but get on with it.
Corner for Dortmund, deep to the back post. Again, it's wasteful. That's two corners have gone straight to Thibaut Courtois, who's bowled it out down the middle for Arda Güler, and Real Madrid are on the break here, and Vinicius Junior has spotted the goalkeeper off his line, but he didn't have enough space to get it up and down and under the crossbar, with Kobel almost on the edge of his own area.
He should have done, Mike. He should have done. He's good enough to do that, and that sort of deflected from the initial pass, meant it fell into his path, and he's 30 yards out, and Kobel is absolutely nowhere. I'm telling you now, 3-0 kills off the game. This Dortmund side don't look like they've got any belief at all. And Vinny Junior, he's actually better than that. He's probably used one of my sand wedges, where it's more of a 3-iron than a sand wedge.
And it all came from a tame corner at the other end by Dortmund, who have it now up towards Guirassy, midway inside the Real Madrid half, central. 2-0 Real Madrid lead with 5 minutes left of the first period. Quarter-final of the Club World Cup being brought to you live on TalkSport 2. Gross, short to Adeyemi on this near side, in line with the edge of the box. Svensson, back to Ben Sebaini. They're having to build again from the edge of the centre circle now. Anton for Sula, rather lazily forward by Nicolas Sula, but it does fall for Gross in the D. But again, there's not much design from Borussia Dortmund. It's all a bit scrappy.
It looks as if they haven't really got a plan versus a team that has a plan both with and without the ball. They know exactly what they're doing, Real Madrid. You know, really impressive with, as I say, Vinny Junior and Garcia as the two front players. Jude Bellingham normally, although not in this particular moment, sort of in between them, just dropping off. You got Tchouaméni on Julian Brandt, making sure that he's not doing anything. He's been too quiet.
Here come Dortmund though, edge of the area. Sabitzer swings it in. Guirassy had lurched further forward, so it was behind him. And Dortmund now have to defend as Real Madrid try to come forward down the far side. Good work by Brandt to rob Vinicius Junior. Sula stayed forward. His cross though is into the feet of Tchouaméni, who was standing inside the penalty area. And the Frenchman, unsuccessful in trying to bang it off the legs of a Dortmund player, eventually slides in, and he doesn't concede the corner. He wins the goal kick, does he?
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, isn't it, nowadays, where even if there's two players on you, you're still expected to try and sort of do a bit of skill and find the way to pass it out instead of just getting rid of it. So he got away with that one in the end.
Just in a replay of Vinicius Junior's attempted lob, he actually completely miscued his shot.
Yeah.
It was way off target. Xabi Alonso got to his knees when he saw that. Now that would have been in if it was him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it Luton when he scored from the halfway line?
I think it might have
been. In a cup game years ago.
And as I say, it came off the side of his foot almost, didn't it? You know, he didn't wrap his foot around it at all. And we'll use the golf analogy again, a little pitching wedge, sand wedge, and that would have been game over. 3-0 before half-time. Don't see this Dortmund side coming back. I really don't.
That was more of a children's plastic club type shot from Vinicius Junior. 2 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. 2-0, Real Madrid lead. Sula down the far side, the Dortmund right. Played back into the central area where Anton finds Gross. 30 yards out to the left of the D. Crosses in. I was about to say deep to the far post. It was so deep that it went out of play. And Courtois is saying that I didn't take the ball out of play. It was already out of play.
No, he didn't. I don't really think the referee's assistant needed to get involved there. He certainly didn't. It's a goal kick. We're starting again. And now it's a question of, from Real Madrid's point of view, just see this half out. At 90 seconds plus injury time, you've dominated this game. Do not concede as you come up towards half-time and give Borussia Dortmund anything, because at this moment in time, physically, tactically, mentally, psychologically, they look a beaten side against this Real Madrid team.
A Real Madrid team who, like Borussia Dortmund, finished trophyless in both Europe and domestically. during the 2024-25 season. Technically, this is still the 2024-25 season.
Is that all the way to the final, yeah? So mid-July, when people are in pre-season.
For next season.
We're still in last season.
Dortmund have it. Final minute of normal time at the end of the first half. You're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport 2, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at dazn.com to watch every game live, and crucially for free as well. Fran Garcia, who's been everywhere down that left flank, a bit more defensive in the last 10 or 15 minutes than he was in the opening 10 or 15 when he was on the offensive. Here come Dortmund. Süle out wide to the equally blonde-haired Ryerson. Now Anton for Bensebaini. To the left to Adeyemi, outside the penalty area. Adeyemi crosses to the far post. Garcia, Fran Garcia's there again, playing the left-back role and heading it away, only as far as Julian Ryerson. The Norwegian back into Anton again. They've gone central. Anton, 40 yards from goal. Square to Bensebaini. It was this kind of pass that made you think, I don't know what to do with the ball here. I really don't know what to do. There aren't many options. 3 minutes of added time to come at the end of the first half, and Dortmund are at snail's pace.
Even when Adeyemi got the ball there, it took him 3 or 4 touches to get the ball under control.
Brandt sweeps it out to the far side, the right. Ryerson up against Fran Garcia. Checks, crosses in with his right boot. Good cross! Just above Daniel Svensson. And away by Valverde. In fact, in the end, it was a foul on Tchouaméni by Svensson. But it was a close call for Real Madrid.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's the first time they're able to get to the byline and put in a fantastic ball. I actually don't think it was a foul. There's 2 players going for it. And in the end, neither got it. Just play on. And that will give Dortmund a tiny bit of positivity from what's been a really poor first half. They can somehow do that a little bit more in the second half, then maybe they can get something out of this. But, you know, it's a 2-0 thrashing really at the moment.
It's a goal kick, or sorry, a free kick, should I say, in almost a goal kick position for Thibaut Courtois. Left-footed. He almost effortlessly plays it high into the Borussia Dortmund half. That would have been a good tee shot. If that was a golf shot from Courtois.
I was thinking that. That's not me off the tee.
Dortmund with a throw in. A minute left of added time. Niko Kovac standing in casual wear with his index finger on his lips, deep in thought. I wonder what he's about to say to his players at half-time. I think first of all he'll say keep cool, because it's hot out there. Süle towards the edge of the area, gets the return ball, but Fran Garcia cuts it out, and Real Madrid look to counter at pace with Vinicius Junior into the Dortmund half. Gonzalo Garcia's down the middle, Fran Garcia down the line. Here is Fran Garcia. The pass wasn't the best. Dortmund have it back with Ryerson, who is upended by the aforementioned Fran Garcia.
Full of energy though, isn't he, Fran Garcia? Wasn't the best of passes from Vinny Junior, and yet just behind him, the chase back. Yes, he made a foul in the end, but absolutely full of energy. This Real Madrid side just look half a yard at least quicker than the whole of the Dortmund team.
Don't forget, England's opening game at the Women's Euro is currently live on TalkSport. So when this half ends, you can catch the end of that game. In fact, this half has just ended, and Real Madrid are in control of this quarter-final at the FIFA Club World Cup. Süle, Adeyemi and Gross are the 3 players who've gone off to be replaced by Jan Couto, Maximilian Bayer and Felix Nemetcha. And it's going to be Dortmund who'll get the second half underway in yellow and black. Kylian Mbappe is very leisurely walking across the pitch to the dugout, looking calm, cool and collected in this heat. Gonzalo Garcia keeping him out of the team at the moment with 4 goals in 5 games. Real Madrid with a 2-goal lead, and Dortmund, who will attack the goal away to the right, get the second half underway. Real in all white, bright, brilliant white in the sunshine of New Jersey. And they line up as follows with Courtois in goal. They've got Rudiger, Hausen, Fran Garcia, Alexander-Arnold. Tchouameni seems to have dropped into midfield with Valverde and Goulet, Bellingham, Gonzalo Garcia and Vinicius Junior up front. As for Dortmund, Kobel in goal. Sula's now gone off to be replaced by Couto. Anton and Bensebaini also in that back three initially. I don't know whether they're going to go to a four. And then in midfield, Lemaitra's replaced Gross, and Adam Yami's replacement is Bayer, the young German. So it's Ryerson, Lemaitra, Sabitzer, Brandt, Svensson in midfield with Guirassy, and now Bayer up front for Borussia Dortmund. Real Madrid have the ball in front of Xabi Alonso's technical area. Fran Garcia sweeps it over to the far side to Trent Alexander-Arnold, now very much a Real Madrid player after all those years at Liverpool. It was an important interception by Sula. Sorry, let's say Ryerson. Sula's no longer involved. It's the bright peroxide blonde hair which is a distraction as Real Madrid playing into the penalty area. Dortmund with Sabitzer to get it away, and as far as Tchouameni, it's midway inside the Dortmund half, and now they come away with it. Bayer down the left, Guirassy and Brandt are going forward, as is Lemaitre on the left edge of the penalty area. This is a promising start to the half by Borussia Dortmund. Here is Bayer, just in front of Guirassy, cut out well by Dean Hausen.
Well, it's the positive start that Niko Kovac would have wanted with his triple substitution. I think he would also have had a go at every single player that he hasn't taken off and said, I need much more from you. Much higher intensity from Dortmund so far.
Down the right near side as we look, Julian Brandt can't find a teammate. The intended target was Bayer, who's won it off Bellingham inside the area. The angle is acute. Has he managed to keep it in play? He has, but he's given it straight to Thibaut Courtois. Well, that's a promising start. Although, that said, Real Madrid are coming forward down the far side, their right. Federico Valverde deep to the back post, a little too deep for Vinicius Junior. He's kept it in on this near side, the Real Madrid left. Down the line it goes for Fran Garcia into Bellingham. Very deliberate approach play here from Real Madrid. Dean Hausen signed from Bournemouth this summer. Bournemouth making a nice tidy profit on Dean Hausen, who's on the ball again now inside the Dortmund half.
Don't think many can say that, can they? The move from Bournemouth to Real Madrid.
Well, he's earned them a lot of money in the process. Good work down the far side by Svensson. Plenty of space to run into, edge of the area. Cross is blocked by Antonio Rudiger, and it goes out for a Dortmund corner on the far side of the field. The German club's right, and the fans are lifted by their team's start to the second half.
It's been much better at the start of the second half. And where was this intensity in the first half? As I say, Kovac making the three substitutions, and sure, he would have had a go at every single player. But they're 45 minutes away from getting knocked out. But if they are somehow to find the next goal, 2-1, it's game on.
It's going to be Svensson to take it, a left-footed outswinger towards the penalty spot. Up goes Bensebaini, who claims it came off a Real Madrid player. The referee said it came off the Algerian, so it's going to be a Real Madrid goal kick.
Well, conversely, what Real Madrid need to do now is get back that sort of tempo of the game. If you ask me if you could keep up that intensity, I don't think they can, but they should be able to for the next 15 minutes or so. And the next 15 minutes are crucial in terms of trying to make sure they can still keep that clean sheet, but they need to keep the ball. They need to run Dortmund around, who must already be tired after the run around that they had in the first half. But it's been a very good start to the second half from Dortmund.
Sabitzer pressurising Hausen down the near side. That's the Real Madrid left. Bellingham close to the touchline, has to wriggle his way between Julian Brandt and Marcel Sabitzer, and he does it to success, although he has to go all the way back to Thibaut Courtois. 50 minutes played in this quarter-final of the FIFA Club World Cup, being brought to you live on TalkSport 2, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at DAZN.com to watch every game live and for free. We're watching some of the Real Madrid substitutes, in fact most of them. You don't need much of a warm-up in this heat. Kylian Mbappe is part of the contingent as Dortmund, who've seen a lot of the ball in the opening 5.5 minutes of the half, lose possession. Svensson couldn't keep it in play.
Yeah, Kylian Mbappe, I mean, you mentioned about how he looked pretty cool walking across the pitch. I think everyone was waiting for him to get off the pitch so they could actually get the game going. And I don't know, look, an amazing player, of course he is world class. It just looks as if he's just not bothered if he's not playing. Actually, he looks like he's not bothered sometimes, even if he is playing. He certainly didn't want to warm up too much there.
Ball is still inside the Dortmund half, the Real Madrid half. Now it is in the Dortmund half. It's gone back to Ryerson. Now playing in the position that was previously occupied by Niklas Süle, who's now left the field along with two teammates. A triple substitution made by Niko Kovac at the start of the second half. Real Madrid finished runners-up to Barcelona in La Liga at the end of the season, 4 points adrift in the end. They have qualified for the Champions League, as have Dortmund, though they finished way off leaders and winners Bayern Munich, fourth in the table. Between them and the champions, Bayer Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso's club until several weeks ago, and Eintracht Frankfurt. But Dortmund will also be involved next season in the Champions League, and maybe the Bellinghams will come up against each other in that competition.
I'm sure they will at some point in the future. Just seeing pictures of Joe Bellingham sitting there looking very frustrated with a big frown on his face. I bet he wishes he could be out there and try and do something to get his team back into this, but his brother is bossing the show at the moment. What a wonderful outside of the foot pass.
Trent Alexander-Arnold down the right side to the captain for Real Madrid, Federico Valverde. Back to Goulet, into Tchouameni, midway inside the Dortmund half. Valverde looking to push it beyond Ben Sebaini. And now to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who set up the second goal. It's a second bite, third bite at the cross on the edge of the penalty area. But it's all rather casual, and Dortmund can come away with Bayer. Gets away from Goulet, who then concedes the throw-in over on the far side. Just a reminder that England's women lost their opening game at the Women's Euro 2-1. They were beaten by France. They did score a late goal, an excellent late goal by Keira Walsh to give them some hope, but they just could not find an equaliser. Next game is against the Netherlands in midweek. Club World Cup wise, Real Madrid at the moment are going to be playing Paris Saint-Germain in the second of the semi-finals. The other will be between Fluminense of Brazil and Chelsea, who beat another Brazilian club, Palmeiras, to get to the last four. If Real Madrid score again, as Scott said earlier on, this game is done and dusted. Vinicius Junior round the outside of Ryerson on the left here, and gets the corner off the Norwegian.
Yeah, just dangerous giving the ball away there, Dortmund. And Real Madrid are not necessarily known for their counter-attack with Mbappe not being in the side, but certainly with Vinny Junior have the pace to be able to do that. Good defending in the end, making sure that nothing came off that.
So a corner kick as we tick round into the 55th minute of this game in the bright blue skies above the MetLife Stadium. Rudiger's come forward for it. It's going to be Goulet to take the corner. Low to the near post. I'm not sure whether that was intended. Wasn't the best of deliveries by the Turkey international. And so Fran Garcia has to pick up the pieces and eventually go back to Thibaut Courtois in the Real Madrid goal. 7 years now at Real Madrid, Thibaut Courtois. Where has the time gone? Goodness me. Long ball forward, cut out by Dortmund.
Is that what it is?
7 years.
Wow.
Here's Sabitzer in the centre circle.
Don't want to say too much, sorry mate, don't want to say too much, but I wish he was in the Chelsea goal right now.
Yeah. There might be a feeling that Chelsea need someone of Courtois standing between the sticks next season. They've made a lot of signings, but they are outfield signings. Here's Nemecha looking to get the better of his opposite number, Valverde, deep inside the Real Madrid half. It's sent to the edge of the area. Tchouameni calmly forward. Down goes Gonzalo Garcia, who we've not seen a great deal of since he scored the goal.
No, he's worked hard, he's run around, he's tried to chase and sort of be that first line of defence, but in terms of anything going forward, no. Well, I would not be surprised if in the next 10 minutes or so that we do see Kylian Mbappe coming on. I think, you know, one, we want to try and manage minutes for the players, but also two, we want to try and get minutes on the pitch for someone like Kylian Mbappe. But the bottom line is, the bigger picture is making sure you go through to the semi-final.
Crazy to think, isn't it, that Mbappe, the top scorer in La Liga last season, 31 goals in 34 games, 43 and 56 in all competitions, and that was his debut season.
Well, it's a pretty poor debut season then, isn't it? Can you imagine how, you know, honestly, it's just so good, but it is fascinating to see how Xabi Alonso going forward, not just in this competition, but if they are to get through, obviously it's against PSG.
They're now coming forward, Junior. Vinicius Junior unable to get there ahead of Kobel, but they had 4 players on the attack there, Real Madrid, and that was a massive threat for Dortmund. Good recovery in the end.
Yeah, it just looks as if Real Madrid, whether they're with the ball, they look like they can open Dortmund up. Even without the ball, win the ball quickly and counter-attack them, they look dangerous as well. But yeah, if, and you would think when, also, the way they're playing at the moment, they go through to the semi-final. PSG is old side. Will he start with Kylian Mbappe? I think that'll be a massive statement from Xabi Alonso, I really do.
Real Madrid have won this competition, or various guises of this competition, on 5 previous occasions: 2014, 16, 17, 18 and 22, as Julian Brandt, who never really got his body in position, has a go for goal, and I say that loosely.
Yeah. Look, it wasn't a great shot, but it was the right thing to do. At least they sort of won the ball back through their decent pressing, and then they try and counter-attack very quickly. It's on his left foot, he's kind of falling to his left as he has that strike. But at least there's an attempt, whereas in the first half it was just really poor going forward.
This is Dortmund's first appearance at the FIFA Club World Cup, but they did win its predecessor, the Intercontinental Cup, as Champions League winners back in 1997. They beat the Copa Libertadores winners Cruzeiro 2-0 in Tokyo 28 years ago. Tchouaméni. Real Madrid 2-0 up here against Borussia Dortmund. Both goals scored inside the first 20 minutes. Dortmund player goes down, Bayer, but no free kick given. The referee was close enough to it to feel that it didn't warrant a free kick. And now Real Madrid down the far side there, right, with Tchouaméni putting pressure on Ben Sebaini. They get the ball back off the Algerian's boot. The ball hadn't gone out of play. You can see that the referee's assistant was like a hawk, and I think he's absolutely spot on. We could see from here it hadn't gone out. Tchouaméni decided to pick it up, not the whole ball.
It's got to be the whole ball. 7/8 of it maybe out, but there was 1/8 that was still in. And he was absolutely right, the referee's assistant. You can see right, he was. It's a good way of describing it, looking like a hawk along the, you know, bent down a little bit to see if it's fully over. He knew he wasn't. He was like, nope, sorry, handball.
He was like the now redundant line judges at Wimbledon.
Yes.
Good win in midfield by Maximilian Bayer, who sends it out to Nemecha on the left. All the substitutes coming forward. Jan Couto is there. That ball reversed in towards a teammate. Almost found its target, but now Dortmund have got problems because it's 4 against 4 here for Real Madrid. Brilliant challenge by Julian Ryerson to keep out Vinicius Junior, whose legs looked a bit tired. And now Nemecha again for Dortmund comes forward, and it does find its target on the left. Svensson, Daniel Svensson, the Swede, into Bayer, back in towards Svensson. Had he been a substitute, he might have got that.
He might have done, but to be fair to him, he, you know, ran down the left, he passed it inside, he carried on running as well, and I think the pass wasn't quite as good as it should have been. The game's, I wouldn't say it's getting quicker, it's actually getting slower, but it's opening up more. You can see that both sets of teams are feeling much more tired now. And there's anyone who can like get on their counter-attack and be ruthless with the next goal. 3-0 kills the game off, 2-1, game on.
Hardly surprising given the heat. It's above 30 degrees Celsius, and the sun is beating down on this playing surface. Dortmund, who've had a much better second half, still though can't find a way through to give themselves some hope of making it to the semi-finals of the FIFA Club World Cup, being brought to you here on Talk Sport 2, presented by DAZN. This competition as Bayer into the penalty area, shoots, and that's the first real save that Thibaut Courtois has had to make down low to his right.
Yeah, and it's a decent save. I mean, it's one he should be making for sure, but at least they're being much more direct now, Dortmund, than it is Madrid, who are looking tired at the moment.
And they struggle to clear the lines. In the end, it's Hausen who goes back to Courtois, who's not had a great deal to do in the Real Madrid goal. And now Goulet through central midfield finds Gonzalo Garcia. This is good football. Valverde, the ball is running for Real Madrid here. Vinicius Junior is way offside. As soon as he touches this ball, no, the flag has not gone up. Gonzalo Garcia into the area, left foot across, away only as far as Vinicius. Still no flag. Back it goes to the edge of the D, and Tchouaméni hits the crossbar. And now the referee blows his whistle for the offside, which was about half an hour ago.
Just ridiculous. You can see the officials clearly were talking to each other. So the referee's blown the whistle before the referee's assistant actually put his flag up. Just put it up. Doesn't matter what happens afterwards, and we know there can be injuries. You know what you're going to do, and he was a good yard or two offside. It wasn't close.
Crazy. Tchouaméni nearly scored a spectacular goal. Substitution for Borussia Dortmund. Julian Brandt has left the field. He's worked hard in this game as Julian Brandt. He's been replaced by the Belgian teenager, another Julian Duranville, Belgium international already at the age of 19. You just sense here that Real Madrid might finish this off, because they're countering with plenty of numbers coming forward as Dortmund have to commit.
Yeah, but it's not quite the game they want. When you're 2-0 up, you want to be in complete control and have it at the tempo that you want. In this heat and conditions, you want to try and slow it down and almost just make sure that Dortmund can't do anything, can't create anything. It's very end-to-end. It's definitely slowed down in terms of the pace, but it's very end-to-end.
Free kick on this near side. The referee's gone straight for his pocket to give a yellow card to, I think it's Dean Hausen. Is it Hausen? Or is it the player on the floor?
Couto.
Oh, it was Jan Couto. God, oh my goodness me, that was head high with his knee right across the face of Fangos. That's dangerous play. Should that have been a red?
Well, it's close to being a red. I personally think a yellow is the right decision, but it was high. It was reckless, and he went straight into Garcia as well. You can see when someone does something like that, their head's gone at that moment. They're not thinking clearly, not disciplined enough. So to get away with that a little bit.
Well, you and I are both young enough to remember Harold Schumacher against Battiston at the World Cup in '82. Now, it wasn't at the pace that was played, but it was at the height.
Yeah, well, it was actually higher than what Schumacher did, but no, it was the way that Schumacher came out. That was horrendous. That was a red card in a 24-match ban.
And he never got a yellow.
No.
Unbelievable. That was the 80s for you.
The checking, VAR checking.
Possible red card here. We alluded to it. Jan Couto's not been on the field long, not even 20 minutes.
Worth the check, Mike, honestly.
May not be on much longer. Garcia's on his feet. He's perfectly okay. A little bit stunned by what happened. And we're still waiting. Play's not resumed, but one other thing I can tell you is that Kylian Mbappe is about to come on for Real Madrid. What a great sight for a Dortmund defender.
Well, let's see if he fancies it or not, because if he does, he can kill this game off for sure. And look, if he wants to play in the semi-final against his former side, he needs to really show that he's absolutely ready for this, because Gonzalo Garcia, you're right to say he's not been as much in the game as he was in the first 20 minutes, but the way, not just in terms of scoring the goal, but also actually sort of that press that Mbappe just doesn't do. That's what Xabi Alonso wants.
Dani Ceballos is also warming up as well, so there'll be at least 2 substitutions made here by Alonso. Valverde on the far side, the Real Madrid right, that's away to our left, leading 2-0. Goulet, 25 yards out, tries to get the return ball off Gonzalo Garcia. It doesn't come off, but Garcia does his utmost to then try and get it back from Felix Lemaitre without any success. And as we approach the midway point of the second half, Real Madrid have this 2-goal advantage which they've held since the 20th minute. Just to remind you that at the Women's Euro today, defeats for both England and Wales. The Welsh lost 3-0 to the Netherlands. England lost 2-1 to France. England play the Netherlands next. Wales face the French here at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Borussia Dortmund, who have possession with a throw-in. Real Madrid want to make the substitutions before it's taken. Really do need to come up with something soon. It's going to be a triple substitution. And I can see Luka Modric down there as well. 39-year-old Luka Modric. Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham and Trent Alexander-Arnold are the 3 players coming off for Real Madrid. They've had their say. And it's going to be Modric, Mbappe and Ceballos coming on. What do you make of that, Scott Minto?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't think Xabi Alonso is saying this game is won. I think Ceballos coming on for Trent. Trent's done okay. Obviously he made the assist. I wouldn't say his passing has been quite to the level that we know what he can do, but he's still settling in. Not surprised to see Mbappe come on because I said about 10 minutes ago it'll probably be another 10 minutes and Gonzalo Garcia will come off, but he's done really well. Now it's the time to make that real impact that Mbappe wants to do, and Luka Modric, well, if you want, I talked about control, and even though they're 2-0 up and can look dangerous on the counter, they've lost control that they had in the first half around Madrid. Well, Modric can certainly give you that. As
can Dani Ceballos, who's also on. But at the moment, Dortmund are attacking, although it's not kept in play by Duranville, one of their substitutes, and it's gone out for a Real Madrid goal kick. Earlier today, Chelsea beat Palmeiras to make it through to the semis. They will play Fluminense. The other semi-final will be between one of these two. At the moment, it looks like Real Madrid and the Champions League winners, Paris Saint-Germain, who with 9 men overcame Bayern Munich earlier on. Semi-finals on Tuesday and Wednesday on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Here's Kylian Mbappe for the first time on the right side for Real Madrid. To the other substitute, Modric. Out wide to Gonzalo Garcia. Both of them on the pitch at the same time. Here's Mbappe towards the dead ball line. Cuts it all the way back to Goulet, who brought it down really nicely in one motion, but then volleyed it over the bar.
Yeah. And there's a lot of individual talent there now. And you're right with Garcia staying on alongside Mbappe as well. And I wonder if Xabi Alonso's thinking, okay, Gonzalo Garcia probably better defensively than Vinny Jr. And we're talking about a striker here there as well. So it's, really interesting substitutions.
Luka Modric, we mentioned it in the first half, will be leaving Real Madrid at the end of this tournament, whether it's today, which looks unlikely, and his likely destination is Milan in Italy, and he'll be playing for them at the age of 40. He turns 40 on the 9th of September.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's outrageous. How could he still be that good at 40 years of age? But his love for the game, he uses the ball, lends it. Such an clever and intelligent player. And fair play to Harry Redknapp putting him into that central midfield at Tottenham and showing that actually you don't have to be the big physical midfielder to be absolute class. And Real Madrid saw him, and the rest is history.
Sabitzer for Dortmund down the near side. We're heading towards the 70-minute mark. Picked up by Tchouameni in central midfield. And now to the near side for Ceballos, formerly of Arsenal, into Modric, formerly of Spurs. And now Valverde. Rudiger, another one who's played for a London club, in Chelsea. To Tchouameni, on to Modric. This is nice and crisp.
This is what I was talking about, where they needed to have a lot more control. And when Modric comes on, he certainly adds that. You know, it's 2-0, and yeah, they look dangerous when they're on the counter, but the game was too open, it was too stretched. I'm not surprised that Xabi Alonso, obviously a classy midfielder himself, wanting a bit more control of it. So who do you bring on? Someone like Luka Modric.
Howson down the near side of the left. Fran Garcia is on the chase with Jan Couto. And despite the fact that he's already on a yellow card, Couto slides in and purposely puts that ball into touch from Real Madrid, throwing on the near side. There's no urgency on the part of the Spanish club because they are edging ever closer to a place in the last 4 of the FIFA Club World Cup. You're listening to Talk Sport 2. This game being played at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Modric, midway inside the Dortmund half. Looking for options with Bayer close to him. Back it goes to Rudiger. Modric for Goulet to Rudiger. The passes are shorter, they're quicker. They're more confident than they were, and Modric's got away from Nemecha. Valverde out to the far side. It's still in that pocket on the far side of the field. Now they head towards the area. Valverde is into it. Back towards Mbappe. Like a ghost attempt on goal from Mbappe. He swept his leg, but the ball never got there.
Yeah, and Mike, I was just thinking what a goal this would be. It was brilliant football, and again, who else would it be but Luka Modric in the middle of all that, just lending the ball, keeping it, giving Dortmund the run around, and then suddenly playing it forward and with a darting little run as well. It's interesting, we talked earlier, didn't we, about Arda Güler sort of being the new Luka Modric.
Mbappe into the penalty area on the left here. Moves to his right. He's then blocked off by Couto fairly, according to the referee. Mbappe's looking towards Ramon Abate. No free kick given. It was right on the edge of the area. All the focus is on the Brazilian referee at the moment. All the boos are coming from the Mbappe fans in the stand.
Never a foul. Referee's absolutely spot on, and I'd be surprised if VAR even tried to check on it. You know, Mbappe, he went down, he was trying to buy the foul, he didn't get up and complain or even roll around, he knew. Yeah, I'm talking about Goulet as well, and you know, being the new Luka Modric, I think that's a big statement for people to say, but one thing I will say is that he will be learning so much as being on the same pitch as him, and he should try and make the most of every single minute that he is on the pitch with him, to see how he moves, what he does with the ball. Just a brilliant midfielder, Luka Modric.
The semi-final will be here as well, as will the final, the 13th of July, Sunday the 13th of July. And Real Madrid at the moment are going to be one of the 4 teams with a chance to do it, should they hold on to this advantage that they've had for much of the game. Here's the score of the second goal. Fran Garcia, infield to Goulet, central now, midway inside the Dortmund half. They are now bossing the game with their control. Real Madrid to the edge of the area. Modric! I thought for a split second he was going to go out with a bang for Real Madrid and score there, but he didn't get behind that ball.
He is rubbish, isn't he? He'll never make it. Honestly, I mean, what a player. He's come on and already, you know, it's like watching the Harlem Globetrotters the way they're playing at the moment, keeping the ball, and he finds himself in that position, and he'll be disappointed if he's only hit the target. He actually should have done a lot better with it, but just brilliant play from Modric and this Real Madrid side. They're a joy to watch right now.
Forward it goes to Dani Ceballos on the halfway line. Got plenty of time to look up. Lots of space on the far side. He plays it forward to Mbappe, bearing down on Bensebaini into the area, sizing up a shot, turns onto his right foot. Still Mbappe, good save by Kerbal at pretty much point-blank range.
I mean, even from a standing start, you've still got to worry about the pace of Mbappe. And as he just gets an extra half a yard, he gets the shot in. It's a decent save. Keeper makes himself big, comes back and hits Mbappe. And in the end, it is a goal kick, but he will be desperate for a goal. He came on in the last game, didn't really do too much. Obviously, he's still trying to get stronger and stronger with the illness that he had, the 5 kilos that he lost. He went to hospital, but But now is time, and with PSG on the horizon, he wants to try and make a massive impact. I'm sure he'd be hoping for not just 1 goal, but 2 goals to say, look, I should be starting. But I think Gonzalo Garcia has proved that he's doing well enough at the moment in the Madrid shirt.
Cooling break time as the fans applaud and the coaches gets the messages across. 15 minutes of normal time remaining. You're watching, or listening should I say, to the FIFA Club World Cup quarter-final between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, live from the MetLife Stadium. You can watch it on DAZN by signing up at dazn.com. Moments respite for everybody, and an opportunity for me to tell you what's coming up on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 over the next week or so. Monday, 5 o'clock, Spain against Belgium from the Women's Euro. Flo Pollock and Gilly Flaherty will be commentating on that game. That's on TalkSport 2. On TalkSport, Chelsea Fluminense on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Scott will be with Nigel Adley for the first of the Club World Cup semi-finals. Wednesday, plenty of football going on there. England-Netherlands at 5 on TalkSport. Wales-France on TalkSport 2 at 8. And at the same time, there'll be the other semi-final of this competition, which will feature one of these 2 teams. And then we end the week on Friday with Spain-Italy for the Women's Euro on TalkSport 2. Joe Bellingham is watching on in a private box. It looks like he's not going to play any further part in this tournament, but he'll be looking forward to next season with his new club, having joined from Sunderland. He'll be playing in the Premier League next season. We'll be covering the likes of Sunderland here on TalkSport 2 and TalkSport during the course of the campaign. It's not that far away, is it now? What, 5 weeks away? Something like that?
It's going to come round very quickly indeed. And you know what, once this... I'm still really engrossed in this competition itself, but yeah, suddenly when we look up on July the 14th, it'll be, okay, Premier League teams already in pre-season matches going on, and that month will happen and go past very quickly indeed.
Clearly these players are going to get a break. They're going to be coming back fairly late in pre-season because of their involvement in this tournament, especially those that get to the final.
Yeah, and look, if you know, I'm obviously hoping Chelsea do get to the final, and if they do, I'm fascinated to see how Enzo Maresca is going to pick his first 11 of the first game of the season, because he's got to give these players time off. And as I say, you know, it's been a long, hard season. They had the European final, and the players go off and play for their countries, and then it's straight into the Club World Cup again.
2-0 Real Madrid lead. We're back from the cooling break. 12 minutes of normal time plus several minutes of stoppage time, I suspect, because of that and the substitutions that we've had, and 1 or 2 stops for injuries. But there's no real momentum on the part of Dortmund. They had a good start to the second half, but they weren't really able to capitalise on it.
They needed the goal then, and if they had have done, then who knows what could have happened. But Real Madrid made sure that didn't happen. They're almost out on their feet. They're still giving it everything, but they really haven't been given the run around today.
Ball is at the feet of Duranville, who's brought down, and there'll be a free kick for Borussia Dortmund inside the Real Madrid half. Plenty of observers watching on, and the Real Madrid fans aren't happy because Duranville has stayed down, but he does look hurt in his defence.
I don't think he'll stay down. Listen, the team are 2-0 down. Want to get up and get on with the game. I think has he twisted his ankle? It's difficult to see exactly what happened.
We can't complain that he's tired. He's not been on the field long enough for that.
That's true. No, look, there's no way he's faking it. If it's a Real Madrid player, you might sort of say there's a bit of time management going on, but not if you're a Dortmund player.
The Kovac brothers are in conversation. Nico, the head coach, and his brother Robert, his assistant, trying to work out what they can do now to try and turn this around in the final 10 minutes. Xabi Alonso, well, he'll be feeling fairly confident, although he would have liked the third goal.
Yeah, but, you know, going back to the start of the game, I thought there could have been a shock here. In the first 20 minutes, Real Madrid came out and absolutely blitzed Borussia Dortmund, and they couldn't live with them. They went 2-0 up. And really, the whole of the first half are in control.
Real Madrid have it. Midway inside Dortmund territory with Luka Modric, who's so calm and composed on the ball. Nothing is a hurry. Just working it all out, orchestrating it all from the central area. Here he is again. Low ball into Gonzalo Garcia, cut out by Ben Sebaini. And then Svensson back to the Algerian.
So I think the hard work was kind of done in those first 20 minutes, but you know, you still got to see the game out, and that's what Real Madrid have done. The first half I thought they were superb. 2-0 didn't really flatter them in any way whatsoever. The second half Dortmund did come out, and then that's when they needed a goal, the first 10-15 minutes. And since Luka Modric has come on the pitch, he's just been, well, pulling the strings.
Ryson's gone down momentarily in his bright pink boots, and there's Duranville has gone off with what looks like a shoulder problem.
The world's greatest club is set to be
Chukwuemeka has come on loan from Chelsea, 21 years of age. So a replacement has been made late on in the second half for a replacement. So Duranville hardly any involvement at all.
Well, I think it pretty much proves he wasn't faking it.
Couto, lovely first touch to bring it down this near side, the Dortmund right. If they score here, makes it interesting. If he shoots anywhere near the goal, it might make it interesting, because he's hit it almost out for a throw-in.
But if you put 3 goals to the side and then 2 goals up, I still don't think it would have gone in. And look, you know what, he's cut inside, he's on his left foot. It's worth having a go, and I think you're absolutely right. You know, if they score here, it would make things interesting, and it's getting to the point where they really need to, because there won't be enough time to go on and get that second. But I don't think they'll deserve it, to be honest with you.
Guirassy and Bayer got the ball, edge of the area, almost find its way through to Guirassy. Bayer was desperately trying to prod it to him, but it just kept bouncing off the Real Madrid legs.
Yeah, he's done well since he's come on, Bayer, hasn't he? I think he's looked dangerous. He's had some shots on goal where Dortmund weren't having that in the first half. But no, I think this is the Dortmund side that I'm not quite sure ever believed they could beat Real Madrid. I thought the tactics are spot on from Xabi Alonso, and he's made some good substitutions, and well, I'd say that the main one is Luka Modric. They lost control of the game, and since he's come on, they've regained that.
He's done the job that Xabi Alonso would have wanted him to do. Here's Ceballos calmly plodding through midfield, out to the far side. Rudiger, no hurry on the part of Real Madrid. Lots of tired legs out there now. There's 7 minutes of normal time remaining. PSG, the European champions, await the winners. Could be Kylian Mbappe. Looks like it's going to be Kylian Mbappe against his former club.
Will he start? Will it be Kylian Mbappe against his former club?
Long ball to the near side, picked out by Niko Kovac, in touch. And now a chance to bring on Raul Asensio for Real Madrid, and he's going to be coming on for Aurelien Tchouameni just for the last few moments. Asensio missing out after sending off earlier in the tournament, but he's going to come on for Tchouameni, who's not going to run off the pitch, having been on it for 85 minutes. He's going to be tired, and he's going to try and just take any kind of sting out of proceedings. Dortmund want to get on with it again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is one of those substitutions to try and kill a little bit of time, so he will take his time coming off. But Asensio, yeah, didn't happen for him in the early part of this tournament, but I think he had a good season for Real Madrid in what wasn't a great season, but there's no doubt about it, he want to come on and try and be in the starting 11 as much as possible. But in the last couple of games, or this game and the second half of the Juve game, they've been very impressive.
Asensio was impressive, individually impressive during the course of last season in many of his Champions League appearances, and there's going to be another substitution be made by Real Madrid in a minute. This is all very tactical, just to break it all up. 5 minutes plus stoppages remaining. House and Long upfield, looking for Mbappe. It's going to drop to the feet of Dani Ceballos, who just misjudged the run of the ball. It's a foul by Rice, and it will be a Real Madrid free kick. The player about to come on is Rodrigo. Much talk of him in the last few days, not staying at Real Madrid. Suggestion by Xabi Alonso that they might be open to offers for him, and Arsenal have been the team connected to him. Rodrigo, who's making his third appearance for the tournament, coming on for Gonzalo Garcia, who scored the opening goal. What do you make of Rodrigo leaving Real Madrid, first of all?
Well, I'm not quite sure he's ever been given the kudos of others, like a Vinny Jr. and Mbappe or Jude Bellingham. And I think that's slightly harsh, but I mean, ultimately it's down to him. Anywhere you move from Real Madrid is a downwards move, in my opinion, but if he feels he wants to be playing on a regular basis and seeing one of the stars in the team, then absolutely make the move. He's a top-class player, very versatile. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can be a number 10 if he wants to be. He's an excellent player for sure.
Coming on with his team leading 2-0. A state of play which has been around since the 20th minute, when Fran Garcia added to Gonzalo Garcia's opening goal. And while one or two hints, they've not really been threatened. Thibaut Courtois has made one or two routine saves, nothing out of the ordinary. Although here, Dortmund have some players over on the left, and one of them is Svensson, who can't really do as well as he should have done. And Asensio snuffs out any possibility that Dortmund might get a goal back late on.
Yeah, they've not really laid a glove on Madrid at all, have they? Can't think of any serious chances. Stats say they've had 2 shots on target but no big chances, and I think that pretty much sums it up. It's been a very disappointing display from Dortmund. As I say, they were just blown away in the first 20 minutes.
Nemecha from the edge of the area, and their shooting, I have to say, has been awful, hasn't it? That's about the third or fourth shot which has been way off target.
Yeah, even the substitutions being made have not been able to make a difference. They really needed to score early on in the second half, where they had that higher intensity, and now, you know, it's really difficult to play against the Real Madrid side, where you haven't really got the bulk of the possession. You're running around, you're chasing shadows, and you're expected to do that for the full 90 minutes.
Courtois launches it again into the Dortmund half, and Ben Sebaini will see it out for a throw-in on the far side, the Dortmund left. 2 minutes of normal time remaining. I wouldn't say it's been a procession, but it's been fairly straightforward for Real Madrid, hasn't it?
I think it has. Certainly much more straightforward than I thought it would be. You know, I have been disappointed in Dortmund. I thought they'd put up a much bigger fight. And you've got to say Real Madrid are one of these sides where, you know, they're multiple title winners for a reason. The mentality they got, and they can develop in a tournament.
Svensson, far side for Dortmund, as we move into the last 90 seconds of the 90. Chukwuemeka out to Svensson, back into Chukwuemeka again, into the area, into space. Well, that was one of the most promising moves of the game.
And Courtois, just for a moment there, wasn't quite sure where it was going. Shot's gone through the legs of Rudiger. I think he realised in the end it was going wide, but yeah, it's better. Too little, too late, though.
Goal kick to Real Madrid in the final minute, leading by 2-0 and readying themselves for a semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday, which will be brought to you live on the TalkSport network. Bayer loses out to Asensio. Modric just shrugs off the attentions of Sabitzer. Let me say, he's a diminutive figure, but because he's a step ahead and he's so lithe, he just gets away from trouble.
He's about 4 steps ahead, isn't he? And he's coming up to 40.
That's a nice touch. Lovely touch down the line towards Asensio. The cross isn't too bad either. They're pouring in white shirts. Here's Valverde. Fired in from an acute angle, saved by the legs of Kerbil. The second shot is just wide from Arda Güler, with Kobel scrambling across to try and get there.
Yeah, they really want to get that third goal now. They don't need to. The game's over, really, as we enter the 90th minute. But Valverde, what a player he is. What a captain. As he gets the shot in, decent save. Comes back to Güler with his left foot aiming for the far post, and there's just a slight deflection
of Marcel Sabitzer's foot. So a Real Madrid corner, 5 minutes of added time. We're into the first of those 5, and Modric will take the corner from the near side, an in-swinger. Commentator's curse, he went short. Played into the hole, lovely ball into the pocket for Rodrigo. Cut back for Rudiger, who from 6 yards out couldn't quite adjust his feet. It came in so quickly.
Honestly, mate, I feel like I'm going on about him now, but if any young central midfielder wants to know how to help boss a game, just look at the minutes that Luka Modric has played since he's come on tonight. He's just been absolutely sensational. Knowing when to play first time, two-touch, keep the ball, lend the ball, the weight of the pass, there was absolutely perfect. And really, it should have been 3-0. Just, he's an absolute master of his position, he really is.
To coin a line from a famous song from the 80s, my name is Luca, I live on a completely different floor to everybody else.
Absolutely.
Sabitzer out to the far side to Svensson. Infield for Nemecha, 25 yards out. Now into the feet of Ryerson, crosses in low. Rudiger doesn't clear comprehensively. Bayer has found a far corner. With 3 minutes of added time left, Borussia Dortmund have a goal back. The celebrations are completely mooted, because Bayer just turns around and walks back towards the halfway line like it's a goal in a training ground.
Well, I'll tell you what they want to do is pick up the ball, run back, put it on the centre spot, because if they somehow get this to extra time, then wow, that'd be one of the biggest travesties of justice that Real Madrid fans would have ever seen. It's a good strike, it was poor defending in the end from Rudiger. Should have cleared that much better. Bayer takes the touch. Great strike, giving Courtois no chance whatsoever. And if I know goalkeepers, and Courtois is certainly one of the top ones, he would have wanted to keep a clean sheet.
First goal of the tournament for Maximilian Bayer. Deep in added time. It's too little too late, surely.
You would think. You would think.
Real Madrid have it with Valverde on the far side. And he's not going to be in any kind of hurry to take it. The more he can hang on to the ball, the less time Borussia Dortmund have. I'm not sure I've seen a less celebrated goal than that of late.
And he came off the bench, he looked knackered.
Rodrigo now, edge of the area for Real Madrid, to the dead ball line. Being followed by Anton. Now Güler from the right, clips it in. Mbappe! He's off the mark at the FIFA Club World Cup with an acrobatic volley at the far post. Kylian Mbappe is getting ready to face his former club, but will he get the chance to start? But he scored a goal. Real Madrid 3, Borussia Dortmund 1.
Well, it's brilliant from Mbappe, isn't it? It's great technique. You can see as the cross comes in, he could have decided to head it if he wanted to, but no. He knew exactly what he was wanting to do, get that volley at the far post. Still need great technique to make sure you get it on target if you're going to do it first time. But boy, has he got the ability to do that. Plenty of time to get the cross in. I think VR may just have a look to see whether he's offside. I think he's just on. But he's able to just shrug off Couto, who should have done better, really. It's poor defending again. He's almost taking his head out of the situation because he knows what Mbappe's going to do. But still, great technique. By the time he's taken that first touch, that volley, it's probably about 5 feet in the air. So you have to be an athlete to do that. Have great technique to make sure it goes on target. And it's given the keeper no chance whatsoever.
And we're now just a few seconds away from the 5 of added time, and here come Borussia Dortmund. Guirassi's been pulled back, and now we have a penalty for Borussia Dortmund. And Niko Kovac must be sat there thinking, oh my goodness, if this had only happened 60 seconds ago, and now the red card is coming out, it's going to be for Dean Housen, I think, and this would be a problem because he won't be featuring in the semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain because of this.
Well, that's the bigger blow is about to come out than actually giving away a penalty itself. That we are literally seconds away. I mean, what a ridiculous ending. Sure, I heard Dean Ashton and Alex Crooks say that about the PSG game against Bayern Munich. What a ridiculous ending. This is just the same. But even if they put it in, surely Borussia Dortmund won't have time to make it into extra time to get that third goal. But Dean Housen getting sent off means he is suspended for the semi-final.
He's still protesting his innocence. The players, his teammates, are still helping him. It's not going to sway the referee. I'm guessing VAR will look at it. Guirassy got ahead of him. Did he pull his arm, or did Guirassy make a meal of it? He went for his arm.
He's pulled him.
He has pulled him off balance.
There's no way Guirassy's going to go down when you're literally one-on-one on goal, and he's just pulled his arm, and he didn't need to. And it's one of those where, you know, he'd be lying in bed at night now thinking, why didn't I just let him go? You know, we're 3-1 up already. It's the right decision from the referee. 1 for the penalty, 2 for the sending off. And Dean Housen now is not available for the semi-final.
Not that it's going to make a huge amount of difference, but Real Madrid are down to 10 men. As Housen disconsolately trudges towards the tunnel, and it's going to be the player that was brought down, Serhou Guirassy, to take the penalty. He scored 3 goals already. If he scores here, Mbappe, by the way, has been booked for not getting out of the penalty area and allowing Guirassy to take the penalty. Guirassy can match Gonzalo Garcia here if he converts this against Thibaut Courtois. Housen is still making his way off the pitch. Away to our right, we have a penalty in the 8th minute of added time. It's probably going to be academic. The score is 3-1 to Real Madrid. There won't be enough time for Dortmund to score a third. It'll be a consolation and a 4th goal of the tournament for Guirassy if he can beat Courtois, who's moving around on his line, bouncing from left to right. Guirassy fires it in with plenty of force. Courtois has no chance. And then Guirassy clutches the ball and heads back to the halfway line. I wonder whether the referee might even blow his whistle as soon as they kick off. It's 3-2.
And it's a really well-struck penalty. The Courtois got absolutely no chance with the side of his foot, but with real pace. Has passed Courtois before he's even seen it. And yeah, we are literally just seconds away from the final whistle. So he's done his thing. He's scored another goal. He's made an impact in this tournament.
Courtois, who's just been beaten, sends it long into the Dortmund half. Just incidentally, because Mbappe's not really played much at all, that yellow card won't mean anything because it'll get white at the end of this game. Dortmund now. Well, the Real Madrid fans want the whistle to go. We're still playing here, and Dortmund are coming forward on the near side with Couto. This will be a turn-up. In it goes. Oh, it's been missed by Bayern. Handball by Sabitzer, surely, as he volleys it in. Courtois makes the save. And the referee looks towards the bench. Has he blown up? Is the game over? Courtois thinks it is. I thought Sabitzer handled it.
Well, it looked like he had.
The game is over.